with some people, and it's those people that will give you the things you need, even when you don't know you need them.
Mm-hmm.
So I were not doing what I was doing, that I'm connected with you,
Mm-hmm.
not be sending me this kind of things that I need
Mm-hmm.
in respect to what I'm doing.
Sure. Got it. Got it.
You just said what you're doing is not easy. It tells me that you understand,
Mm-hmm.
because it only takes somebody that is doing, or that is doing something similar to what I'm doing or stuff, to understand how how challenging it is for all these things to come out and look the way it's looking. So
Mm-hmm.
when I got that email yesterday, and something about self-discipline, when I started reading it, I was like, okay, what is it driving at? What is it driving at? And then I got to there, I was like, oh my God, yes. What do I need to change? What do I need to do? Because this is speaking directly to me.
Yes.
And that's just the importance of surrounding yourself, or doing what you want to do, and then you attract the right people to yourself. It depends on you now to hold on to them fast, like I'm not going to let you go.
That's right. I told you, you got me for life. That's good. Absolutely. Don't worry about that. I ain't going nowhere. That's good. That's good. That is great. So what I also want to do is my format is I pretty much want to open up with my little tagline, and that because I pre-record this and I edit it, because my media background is I'm a producer.
Okay.
I'm a filmmaker.
Okay.
So I did 2 films,
Hmm.
and I did it by myself with other people.
Okay.
So what I learned was
Mhm.
I really learned, and now I can appreciate why there's so many names at the end of a movie.
Of a movie. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. Somebody
I
needed to explain that to me.
I get it now, because you can't be the script writer, the location guy, the lighting guy, the audio guy, the director. It's too much. You
Yeah.
gotta be able to get the right people. You got to know, like I always say with all these applications and platforms, you got to know how it works, just so nobody can try to railroad you. But you learn it just to the point where you get an understanding of it, and then if it's not your thing,
Mm-hmm.
hire it out.
Right.
Get
Right.
somebody else to do it, or network it out, because that
Mm-hmm.
way they can do it a whole lot better than you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what needs to be done, and you know what you want, and you can delegate that, so it can free you up to do what you were in your natural strengths to do.
Right. Right.
Right. So that's what I learned from the movie thing. So being a technical guy, I know it. I know I can learn it. I can spend a lot of time on it. But we got to stop training to be training. We got to
Right.
figure out what's going to stick with us, figure out the road we're
Mm-hmm.
going to go at, be clear about it, and do just that. And everything else, we can get somebody else to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how you scale. That's how you grow. So that's a good thing, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to open up with your bio, because I think it's amazing. I'm going to ask you a couple questions about how you got started, your background, a little bit about your family, stuff like that. Whatever you want to be able to share, because it's all about you. Turn the meat off. It's just about you. And I want to make sure I also, because I know this is going to be seen by a lot of people, I want to make sure I don't mess up your name. My last name is Fitzgiles, and I know people mess up my name all the time. So I told myself, I ain't going to mess up her name. So let me make sure I got this right. Oluwadayo Adeyemo.
You got it right.
Did I?
That's Yeah. You got it
I
right.
even threw a little accent on there, because my poor son, his mother's half white, and he's like got this 24-year-old tattooed good kid. Just, I'm Indian, I'm white, I'm black. Look, Dad, my kids are light skinned. He's in that phase. So one day he did, Dad, I did Ancestry.com. I said, okay, well, how'd it go? Have you found your identity yet? It says I'm 97% Nigerian. I said, well, welcome home, son. Welcome home. did you get, you pay for that? I could have told you that myself. Give me the money.
What? Okay. This is starting off right. I like it.
I said, are you disappointed, son? No, I just wanted to know. I said, well, you know.
How
Isn't
cool.
that something?
How cool. Yeah.
All right. So here we go, my fellow sister.
But here's the thing. So, you can just call me Dayo.
Okay, Dio. Okay, got it.
You can call me Dayo. It's
Dio,
easy.
that's
Actually
cool.
thinking. See
I'll
how
just say I'll say it up front, and then after that, I'll be, I'm doing that. Okay, that's good, Dio. Got it. All right, here we go. Let me do this. Father God, just thank you for this opportunity to be with my sister. I appreciate her spending the time and us connecting. And I thank you for me to be able to kind of spotlight the great things that she's doing. And I thank you, God, for her and the time that we're spending together. Allow us to be able to open up right now and be able to do your will and have your way as we have a great conversation. That's all it is a conversation about a great thing that she's doing for so many people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to do this. Yes. I'm rolling. Yes. You're going to hear film talk now. I'm rolling.
Okay.
Audio's good. You're smiling. Here we go. You hear somebody catching somebody's thumbnail, they be like, before they start, and the thumbnail's like, here we go. All right. Welcome to this Time to Lead podcast. I'm your host, Fred Fitzgerald, where leaders come together to grow and get better. I am just so excited to be able to. We are actually continuing a series on leading through a crisis that I've been doing since August. We've had some great episodes. If you can get a chance to go back and listen to the first 3 episodes, you are going to be blown away at what the speakers that we've had. But today, I got a very special guest speaker on today. She is someone I came across on Facebook, and I found that she's also a part of my organization that as far as the John Maxwell team. And now I've been watching what she's been doing, and I've been just seeing she's some great things. And she focuses in on the importance of mental health. And she's just an incredible individual. I want to read to you her bio. I'm going to brag on her a little bit because I want to be able to introduce her to this Time to Lead podcast. She goes by the name of Oluwadayo Adeyemo. Dayo for short. So welcome to the show, Dayo.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be with you.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I am, I like to start by, I'm a daughter, a mom, a wife, and mental health practitioner. I live in Houston, Texas. I've been here for almost 11 years.
Wow.
I was born and raised in Nigeria.
All right.
Yes. And and now I help people understand and know that their mental health matters. And I just keep doing anything and everything to increase mental health awareness and take away the stigma that comes with mental health.
Okay. So you're born in the motherland of Nigeria. I want to give a big shout out to Nigeria, the whole country, and the whole continent of Africa. So absolutely big shout out. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to you in the beginning as we were setting up that I have 97% Nigerian in my background. My son found that out through his ancestry.com. And so just excited about that. But when you just tell us a little bit about your family, when you got brothers and sisters, who was your biggest inspiration when you were younger?
My biggest inspiration when I was younger I think my dad.
Tell me about him.
He's so I'm blessed to still have my parents alive. My mom and my dad, they are wonderful people. My dad did not stop at anything to do stuff in the public health sector. He had his doctorate program in public health from Columbia University, and he just encouraged me as a girl. I'm I'm the first girl after four boys, and
Woo!
my
Four
elder brother,
brothers?
yeah, and the
Wow,
one
nice.
who followed is 9 years older than me. So you can imagine
Wow.
they were like done.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, no, this one is coming out.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That's
I
awesome.
have a younger sister. So how did they inspire me? First, I must say that, looking back, I think my mom sacrificed a lot to support my father to do and become who he was and who he still is. And then in return, my father helped me to just believe in myself, because
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to maybe be in a debate club or maybe go for a beauty contest, travel on my own, go to a boarding school. And he just, if you want to do it, then he encouraged me to do it. And then
Mm,
when I was old enough to be able to go out and about with him, because he was doing a lot on he was working with the at the Ministry of Health, working
mm-hmm.
with the Professor Ransom Kuti, then with UNICEF, United Nations, doing all sort of stuff. So
Wow.
the opportunity is there. He took me to the field with him.
Mm,
Then and that was where all this thing came from. That
mm,
was when I started seeing what was going on outside the hospital. That was
mm,
why I was seeing that, hey, even though we have the hospitals, we have doctors and nurses and the clinicians, there's so much more going on there in the homes and families, people who are, cannot even afford a meal, how
right.
pregnant men were dying, how
Mm,
women were dying at childbirth, preventable deaths of children, how they had to use a salt solution to do stuff. So I, exposing me to things like that, or bringing
yeah.
me and encouraging me to do whatever I can do, some paperwork and stuff, really put everything together into perspective for me. So
Mm,
before I was going to, become a nurse or a doctor, I knew that I really didn't want to be in the hospital. And
right.
from because I knew there's a lot that can be done before people even get to the hospital. So I
Right.
focused on prevention.
Wow, that's incredible. So you like some of the lessons that he taught you, being able to see that kind of influenced you in the direction that you wanted to do for yourself. Is that what I'm saying? I'm hearing. And what was the thing that you liked the most? Was it the helping of the people, or was it the technical side? What kind of inspired you the most out of what you were seeing and says that made you say, you know what, I want to do that? What was the thing that stuck out to you the most?
Well, I saw that when we go to the grassroots, like when we go to the communities, when we
Mm,
go to these places, we're not all dressed up like I'm dressed up now and stuff. You just put on your slacks and stuff and you go there and you relate with the people. I
mm,
saw how their faces lit up. I saw
right.
how they felt heard. I saw how
Mm,
they were able to, I mean, I'm speaking the same language. I'm human, like they're human. They have blood running in them. But for
mm,
some reasons beyond them, they're not in the position or the economic class that I'm in. But so when
mm,
you go there and you're there to help, listen to what is going on, because any public health person will tell you that implementing anything in the community or something has nothing to do with that degree you're coming with, had nothing to do with
mm,
nothing to do with all the technical stuff you're coming with. If you don't understand the cultural values, if you don't understand the religious values, if you don't understand what they need, and you
mm-hmm.
want to go and fix what is going on with your knowledge, it's not going to work. So
Oh,
you go there and you're ready to listen and you
mm,
involve them in the plan and they understand why something has to be done. The way they just light up at that light bulb moment, and they start telling you, you know what, we need to go and see this person. This is the
mm,
community leader. Even though we have this
mm,
person, that person, no, you need to go to this house because they are the ones that knows what is going on. They tell
mm,
you who to see. They tell you who to go and explain things to. They tell you the people that would drive it. They tell you the people that would mobilize. And then you see lives changing just by
mm,
you getting down with them. So I thought, oh my goodness, even if they came to the hospital, them these pills to use, if in their culture you cannot take something white because they believe this will do that to you, they will
Mm.
keep your medicine wherever. They
Oh.
will never use it. But
Mm.
if they understand what is going on and you understand why they're doing what they're doing, then they will be able to help you come up with a plan. They'll
Mm.
be able to help you come up with what you need to do for you to make that impact.
Right.
If you want to save lives, if you want to prevent pregnant women maternal mortality, if you want to prevent children's mortality, whatever it is you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
just there and helping them made me understand that, hey, I mean, going down there, listening to them, not coming to impose or put anything on them, it makes a world of difference. And that was what really got me like, oh my goodness, the changes do not necessarily happen in the four walls of the hospital. If
Mm-mm.
you understand something from here, from the homes, if they understand stuff that is going on and they're willing to make a change and help themselves,
Mm.
they, the community, the family, the leaders will put things in place to start helping, and then you
Mm.
can make change. So
Mm.
that really got to me like, hey, is you can make a change. You can
Yes. Yes.
connecting with by making the right people understand.
Mm.
Let me give you an example. There
Mm-hmm.
was a community that we went to at something. I started working with the National Malaria Control Program in
Okay.
Nigeria. We were trying to then we're still doing the it wasn't eradication then, control. We're still trying to control malaria
Okay.
spread. So we're
Right.
using something insecticide nets, and then
Mm-hmm.
we got funding, the World Health Organization, global funds and stuff, and then we got all this insecticide nets that you take to the villages. Every woman, a woman is like the household, then you give them two nets so that a
Mm-hmm.
pregnant woman can at least use a net, and a pregnant woman and then the children in the house. When we went back, we found out that in some communities, anything like that has to go to the men.
Mm.
So it's a leadership, or it's an ego thing. You don't bring something and give it to the women to use, and the men will then be like that. So
Right.
even the women, they will either keep it and not use it, or they give
Mm.
it to the man of the house.
Oh.
And this was after so much campaign, this was after so much animation, but there was just something, like this cultural factor here, it doesn't work. So you see,
Right.
even if the household is the man, or
Mm.
if we focused on the men and they're the ones maybe taking it and say, I'm giving this to my woman because this
Mm-hmm.
protects or keep them safe and stuff, would have been able to save a lot. But those were the kind of things that I see, and if
Mm.
to prevent that malaria in the household, you
Mm.
won't need to come to the hospital in the first place. And if
Right.
have to come to the hospital in the first place, we would have saved a lot of that, and we won't have
Mm.
so many people dying or coming up.
Mm.
So it's just that impact that prevention can make just by
Mm.
interacting with the right people, that got me thinking about all those things. So even during my first my bachelor's program in Nigeria, Babcock
Mm.
University, as a nurse, I'd always thought, hey, where would this get to? What are the things you can do? So even with my psychiatry, when I'm talking to people, I'm given medication and I'm still saying, hey, tell me about the home like, oh, can you come
Right.
with your husband? Will he? Because I know that it's not just
Yeah.
about my pills, it's not just
Right.
about my medication. So that's how I got here, and I'm still
Wow.
kind of doing the same thing.
Wow. That is a great story. And as I'm listening to you, I'm actually visualizing, where that passion could have started, where it starts from. I think there's a lot of communication and translation from and a culture shift that you saw there was a need there. I see also that because of the cultures can be a hindrance to
Yeah.
to the well-being of the family if there's not a level of humility that says what's more important? Is it the culture, or is it the holding on to this culture thing, or is it the well-being of my family? I can see why that would be a concern for you, but it takes a special person. That's why I love what you do. It takes a special person to even care enough to be able to, to even care about enough about others. And in your opinion, if someone wanted to get into this kind of field, what would be maybe three things that they would need to have as far as, you know, the type of person that could even be successful in this field that you're in right now? What are like three things like they would need to have?
Well, in the field, you mean psychiatry or mental health, or which?
When I say field, I'm talking about the field of caring for people,
Yeah.
period. Yep.
Okay. So to want to be in that field of caring for people, you have to just be caring for people has to be one of the things that gives you joy.
Got it. Got it.
It has to
Got
be one of the things that that gives you fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There, and here's the tricky part. See, there are two things about caring for people. Now I was listening to I was part of a seminar recently, and one of the speakers was talking about the mega trends.
Okay.
Okay, trends. And healthcare is one of the things that you have to, that is like the thing. Technology is one of those
Yeah.
things. So with healthcare, here's the things with healthcare. They tell you, you're here if anything has to do with food and that has to do with health, you cannot go wrong. Okay.
Mm, got it.
So people hear that. But here's what I want to say. Because when it comes to health, just think about it. This has got to do with people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say people's lives, it's not just the lives of the people out there, even your life. So your life, in the sense that if you're doing something that does not give you joy, if it's just about the mega trend, if it's just about the money, if it's just about the clout, if it's just about the recognition, you are not going to live a fulfilling life.
Mm,
So it is not enough to want to take care of people. It is not enough to want to be in the healthcare sector. It is not enough for you to want to be a nurse. It is not enough for you to want to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner if that is not what gives you joy.
mm,
You are doing the people you're helping the service, and you're doing even your own lifetime. It's like you're wasting away just
mm.
doing something for the wrong reason. We talked about, we started recording, when you do anything for the wrong reason, it won't work. So the first thing is, caring for people is got to be one of the things that gives you satisfaction. Just like some people, entertaining people is what gives them joy.
That's fact. Right. Okay. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not the same for all of us, but if that is your thing, if caring for people is your thing, just don't stop. Just find which one is it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people want to be in the theater, doing surgeries and just, go put the hat stands and do stuff. That's what they love. They don't really want all the chit chat. They know their stuff. They go there. They have success rates of surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Stay there. That's their own way of caring for people. But some people, you see the Doctors Beyond Borders, doctors from all over the world going to remote places to help people. You see the pictures of them with children. These are people that can be earning a lot or doing so much more in any other country. That's what gives them joy, and they're there.
Mm-hmm.
You see people like myself, I'm focusing on leaders. I look for speaking opportunities to talk to leaders on why they need to take care of their mental health, and when they understand it, how they're able to put things in place for the people under them, and then that way they're impacting lives. I love that because I love to talk.
Right. Good. That's good. And I love the fact that you love to talk because I love to interview you. So that's great. So talk on. It's all good. Please.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
that's the first thing. You see, once you have that, it's one of
Yeah.
the things that gives you joy. Go for it. Once
Mm,
you go, when you just go for it, start from the basis. What do you want to do? Nursing, medicine, whatever it is you want to do there, just start it. And then the more you know about different parts of the body, you can say, hey, I want to deal more with the kidney. Hey, I want to do more with the brain. I want to work with children. I want to work with pregnant women. Then you'll start finding it once you start from there. But if it's not your thing, don't even bother. Don't even
mm,
bother, because
mm,
you won't be fulfilled, and you won't be giving the people the best that you've got.
absolutely. And there has to be a passion which leads you to your purpose.
Yes.
Got it. So do you feel that you're operating in your purpose?
I feel so.
Okay. So, no, why do you feel that way?
Because
I guess what's giving you a clue? They say success leaves clues. What's giving you a clue that you are at least starting to be able to work in your purpose, living your purpose?
because for the first time in a long while, I don't get tired.
So there's no clock in your room. It's like, what time was it? Is it Tuesday? Like, I know. And I was just telling you that's how I was, in my media space. When I'm doing this media stuff, and when I'm doing like training and stuff like that, I'm like, honey, what day is it? Because it's just what we do. So that's what you mean. There's no really, yeah. You just got it.
You're,
Wow.
you're not I'm just not tired. Like, I look forward to all these things. I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? What do I need to talk about? What's happening? There's crisis, there's this. Oh no, what are we gonna put in place? What is the next thing? Was up till God knows when yesterday, trying to still, okay, how can I get this across? Who do I need to talk
Mm,
to? Thinking about,
mm,
this interview. That's one of those things, because I've been in positions when you're just like, oh, it's another
yeah.
day.
I've been there. I got two hands for that. Two hands with a couple feet on that one. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. And
Yeah.
that's definitely not in your purpose, right? What you're saying. Yeah, yeah. That is.
No,
How does that make you feel to know that you are in something right now where, you know, you're not getting tired? By the way, you do have to sleep. Just want to let you know you do
oh,
every once in a while.
I, it's my mental health
That's
matter.
right. Yours too. That includes you too. Okay. Okay.
That's why we have the mind in the first place, because
Yeah.
I mean, no point.
Yeah.
See, I think this is a good point to share this. There is no, there's, it's very easy for us to talk to people. It's very easy for us to be the expert to other people. It's very easy for you to know the things and articulate it and tell people. The difficult part is doing it for ourselves.
Oh, come on. It's time to lead. That's what this show is about. Leading
Yes,
ourselves.
yes, yes.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Everything has got to start with you. Okay, so when I'm talking about my mental health matters, and I'm telling people the importance of sleep, and I'm telling people how you should exercise, and I'm telling people that mental health has got a lot to do with relationships in your lives.
Mm,
I am as human as every other person. The fact that I have that knowledge does not mean it doesn't apply to me. And we forget that a lot. And that's one of the problems we have with mental health. When you hear mental health of your neighbor, when you hear mental illness, you are thinking of a figure, you're thinking of statistics. You are not thinking of yourself, you're not thinking of your children, you're not thinking of your spouse. So that's one of the things with mental health. Everybody say, "Oh, now people now know about mental health. People need to take it easy now. People really need to just take one at a time. You don't have to get anxious." I come on, I get anxious. I need to know when to stop. I need to know when to call for help.
mm,
You need to know once all those things. You come on, you're interviewing people, you coordinate stuff, you're showing up every Saturday on your show, you have invitation here, you're planning your finances, you're making sure the home is fine. Am I a superhuman or an alien? No, everything that I'm telling people applies to me first. And it makes no sense if all I do is talk, 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 and I cannot help myself.
Mm-mm-mm.
So it
Wow.
is why mental health matters. And that's why when I tell people about mental health, when I'm talking to leaders in the trainings that I have with organizational leaders, when I'm talking to them about it, I tell them, see, it starts with you. It is your mental health matters. So you say it. You say, just like I will say, Mr. Fred, say it. What can you read this?
My mental health matters.
Exactly. Yours,
That's
not
it.
mine.
That's
My matters too.
and mine does too. I got it. Got it. That's the truth. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's important. I share with you the stigma that, especially in America, we have on mental health is meant. If you say mental health, it's like, oh, don't talk about that. But it's so many layers of mental health. It's not crazy people. That's not what it's talking about. It because guess what? We've been seeing over the last couple of years, no matter what your political affiliation is, and that people have been acting a little mental. You know what I'm saying? Just by the leaders of our country. So it's like, and then the leaders of your household, and then the people that have, we talk about leadership as influence. It is so true. It's like whoever is the most influential person over your life, you take on that, whatever their mental status is, and whether that blueprint for them is for them. That's not for you, and they're still struggling with their own mental. So talk about the how you got started with mental health matters, and talk about the different layers to give people understanding that it's not just about you having an actual problem. The problem is the fact that our mental health, our status, it does matter. Talk about how you got started with that, and give us a little bit about what you do now with that company.
Yeah. So I started this. Okay, I started getting frustrated. Okay, I'm a nurse practitioner, a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I go do my thing, see my patients, relate with their family, medication and stuff. And I started this. This whole thing actually started because of my frustration with one of the movie industries.
Mm.
You know, because when I tried to look at the movies, I saw the way that mental health or mental illnesses were being portrayed in a way
Mm.
stigmatizing. And I
Yeah.
and I thought, you know, everything people don't ju- everything is not about people getting crazy, all the time. People don't just have schizophrenia because it's punishment for something they've done, or
Oh, good. That's good.
yeah, or something, your ancestral stuff and things like
Sure.
that. So I just started getting frustrated. And then my sister-in-law, who is also like an artist, she's an author, she writes movies, she's got her own movie too. So I thought, well, she's in that industry, let me tell her to tell her people
That's
that
right. You need to holler at your people real quick.
you help me tell your people they have to do this. And then she also lectured me on how on a lot of challenges that movie makers had to go
Yes.
through, filmmakers, and it's a lot of stress, there's a lot of things. And so as I was talking about people, the public, she was also highlighting the stress and the issues this group of people go through.
Mm-hmm.
So he was saying in like, oh, you need to do this and that and stuff. So she said, you know what? I know you try to write and do a lot of this stuff, but now everybody is, they're doing videos, and maybe if you do a short video or something, more people would easily watch and go. I was like, because I was just in my own little world seeing my patient
Mm-hmm.
quietly. And then she said that, I was like, oh, do a video? Okay. How does that work? So because I didn't want, what to tell you about taking action, as if
Yes.
it was
Yes.
24 hours and stuff.
Yes.
So I was on my way out when I called her on Bluetooth. We're talking, and then when I was heading back, I just pulled over to somewhere to under the tree somewhere, and then I was gonna go live, and then the devil came and was telling me, you
Mm.
wake up, you don't have this, you don't have that. I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do it. And then I went 1, 2, 3, click, just click the button. I
Did
clicked the
it.
button.
Bam. That's right. That's
And the
right.
first thing I talked about was, there's a difference between mental health and psychiatric disorders.
Okay.
And then I talked about support system. That was when I just said, we all have a brain. So when I talk about mental health, I say it this way.
Mhm.
There's a detailed definition that the World Health Organization gives us about mental health. But to make it easy, I just say mental health is your brain health. Just like
Mm.
people understand that your renal health or something, your kidney is got to be healthy. When you're
Yeah.
having problems not urinating, you have kidney stones or pain, when people know that. So
Mm.
when we say mental, it just means your brain health. And guess what? Are you living? Are you breathing? Are you nodding the way you are nodding?
Mm.
It means
Mm.
you're alive and you've got a brain. Okay, as you're processing what I'm to everybody listening to our voices right now, as you're processing what I'm saying, and you're probably judging me or liking me or loving me, it's your brain processing all that. And now I come to this, the way you process what I'm saying, the way you are receiving the information, whether or not you're going to turn off this podcast that you're listening to or tune it up to listen more to what I'm saying, it depends on a lot of things. So our brain controls our thoughts, our feelings, and then our behaviors. Go one step backward, it will now be, what are the things that makes the behavior, the feelings, and the behavior, the feelings, and the thoughts, where are they coming from? They're coming from about three major things: genetics, environment, and your genetics, your environment, and your life experiences. Those are the things that make up our brain health.
Got it.
So as we're born, right from pregnancy, is a pregnant woman healthy? Is a pregnant woman taking alcohol, smoking, using drugs? All those things will affect the fetus in the womb. Then when the baby comes out, the baby is growing. Is the baby able to be nurtured? Is a mother there? Did the baby getting love? Do they have the right attachment style? Is there somebody there to soothe the child when the child is crying? Comes a toddler, what kind of environment is the child? Are they being touched off? Are they reading to the child? Is the child witnessing violent stuff, domestic abuse, or just going to right school, eating right? All those things happening. When a child gets to school, at school age, is a child being bullied? Is a child in a school where they take mental health seriously? Are they making fun of the child? Is a child in a special class? And if in a special class, is this child accepted? All those things were all growing up. So regardless of what happened, regardless of where you find yourself, everything that's happening to you is different from what happened to me.
Mm.
And we are all growing. So the environment will bring that on. Your childhood experiences will bring that on. And then, of course, I still have my genetics that I do not have control over. So my environment would affect all those things will work together as we are growing up.
Mm.
So what do we all have to do? We all have a brain that's got to be taken care of. If
Yes.
everything worked out right and as you're growing, so look at the teenagers. When the teenagers start dealing with the peer pressure of having to use drugs or having to sleep with a guy or having to drink at the party and do stuff like that, how are they able to deal with all that? Do they have
Mm.
the right support system? Are they getting the right information? Then they get to the point they want to choose a life partner. What are the things that influence their life partner? How did they make their choice? Is it religion? Is it parental influence? Is it all that? Then you have to make decision about the work you're going to do,
Mm.
the yeah. And you see how mine started from the exposure my dad gave me and how it started
Right.
shaping me to where I am now, and I discovered myself, and I'm going forward with it. He did not push me. I took a liking to it, and I'm doing what I wanted to do. Let's
Mm,
assume not that. Let's say I just wanted to do something else, and my dad imposed, healthcare on me, or you have to do this. I probably will still, I can be doing the same thing, but not getting this kind of fulfillment, because
right.
this is my part. I
That's
wanted
right.
to be an artist. I wanted to be an actress, and I
Mm,
wanted to be a singer, and I'm here. So
mm,
let's not say where I'm, I, I didn't want to do it, and I'm where I am now. My fulfillment would not be the same. Let's say I do not have a husband that is supporting what I'm doing and encouraging this, because all this that I'm doing, it can be two ways. I'm doing it just because I want to do it and I don't care, or I'm doing it because I have the support of the right people, my siblings, my spouse, my children. It would not be the same feeling if all these things were not the same.
mm,
So even if I'm here talking here at this podcast, and I'm, talking every Saturday, and I'm talking to leaders, and I'm doing all this training, and there's something going on in the house, I am not, my mental status or mental health is not, my mental status is not in a good place. I probably have a poor mental health.
mhm,
So it
mhm.
is not because you're a doctor. It is not because you're a nurse. It is not because you're an engineer. It is not because you're a public figure, a social media influencer. That does not define your mental health.
Mm,
Mental health is about this, your brain, and it's about how you are feeling, thinking, and behaving. If any of this thing is not right, a lot of times people see behaviors, but you know the thoughts in your heart, and you know how you're feeling.
true.
If it's not right, even if you deceive the world, you know what you're dealing with.
Hmm.
See what happened to Anthony Bourdain. My mom,
Yes.
my mom's heart was broken. Don't you see him every time? Would you think anything was wrong with him?
No. Nope.
He stayed.
Mm,
Any woman will say, what else did she want?
mm,
That is a mental health part. We
mm,
all need to take care of our brain. We all need to not neglect our brain, how we're feeling. We all need to be able to speak up for help.
mm.
And it is not just about what people are saying, because guess what? When the chips go down, you will be the one to deal with all those things yourself.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that is one part. The other extreme is this. There are people who do have mental psychiatric, they have mental challenges that can fit under a diagnosis.
Mm,
And when we have a diagnosis, it is not to label the person, it is for us to be able to find the right treatment,
mm,
so that this person can live to their own fullest potential, even with that diagnosis.
mm,
And I like to use example of, say, cancer, or I like to use example of, say, hypertension. Now, everybody is working around. You have colleagues, you have people you relate with everywhere you go, this grocery store, everywhere that we go to, the library, the mall, everybody is going around talking about but there are people who have medical issues that they're going through, and they take their medications in the morning, or they will step aside and check their blood sugar, or they have appointment for their chemotherapy, when they leave the meeting or wherever they are, and they go do it. The brain is also an organ of the body, just like the kidney, just like the lungs,
mm.
every other part. So there
Right.
are people who do have issues with their brain, either the neurotransmitters, or maybe they had injury, or maybe there's something going on, or maybe genetics, or maybe even they had traumatic childhood experiences, and so they're dealing with panic attacks, or maybe anxiety, or maybe they just have depression. It's in their
Mm,
genetics. They also have to take care of that issue,
mm.
just like everybody is taking care of their kidney issues, cancer, hypertension, diabetes. So when they are taking care of something wrong with their brain, for goodness sake, they should not be labeled crazy.
Right. Exactly. Mm.
And that's the problem we have, because people know, or people think that if there's anything wrong with your brain, we know how important our brain is to
Mm.
the decisions we make, to the things that we do. However, this is also a part of the body. So those who have issues with that part of their body also have the right and should be allowed and should be encouraged to take care of it the same way you would support and you would cheer somebody that goes for their chemo on the last day of radiotherapy or the last day of chemo. You ring the bell, you
Yeah.
celebrate. That's the
Yeah.
same way we should celebrate anybody in our family or friends that has something they're dealing with and they are seeking treatment for it.
Mm. Mm.
You cheer them on, you ask how you can support them. Because even though we have genetics, that they might have the issue, we all have different life experiences that might put us in a place that we do not want.
Right.
Talking of, the range of mental health to mental illnesses, it is the same for all of us. And guess what? For every individual, we all have a high chance of having a mental issue in our lifetime.
That's true. That is
So,
true.
so this, everything is okay. Yes, keep nurturing your brain intentionally because your mental health matters. And because the mental health of the people who have some mental health problems, because their mental health also matters, they should also be able to take care of it without being judged.
Yes. That is. I think it's one of the best explanations of the true definition of the brain. I think it's one of the best. The brain as an organ, just like any other part of your body that you take care of. Just like this muscle here.
Yes.
That's an organ. It's the
Yes.
same thing, the same muscle. The heart, we work out, the same thing. So I love how that distinction of this is a organ. As a matter of fact, nothing else works without it. Nothing. So treat it like an organ. And then the other piece was the psychiatric thing that I told you it was connected with me because my mother suffered from schizophrenia, and that part just being the diagnostic part of it. I think that's a great separation. And it's not that it's crazy when I learned it. It was an actual condition. It was a diagnosed by a medically licensed practitioner that has experience with this particular condition. And there's a whole nother situation of how you treat each one of them. That is
Yeah.
one of the best ones I've ever heard. Wow. I can see why you're so passionate about it. I
Yeah.
love it. And it's so necessary because guess what? It's across the board. There's not a race, creed, color, nationality, religion, whatever it is, it affects human beings that have a brain.
Yes.
All of us,
All of
right?
us.
So that conversation is not just pigeonholing to one particular group. If you
Mhm.
got a brain, you can
Yeah.
relate to this.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you
That.
don't have a brain, okay. But if you have a brain, this so how can people, as far as the side of the brain that's just a regular organ, what are some of the ways that they can work on making sure, like you said, if you are doing well, your brain's okay, great, keep nurturing it. What are some of the ways you can nurture the organ of the brain?
Okay, so we have this thing in our that they say a lot in. I mean, we see it a lot in psychiatry, but I hear it a lot in, with Alzheimer's, because I'm a community educator, volunteer community educator for Alzheimer's too. And one of the things that we talk about, is that whatever is good for the heart is good for the brain. So if you are, so we're talking about, a good diet.
Mm-hmm.
So, the cholesterol, during your food, just eat healthy. Then we talk of exercise. You
Okay.
have to go out in the morning, exercise, get your heart pumping blood to all the
Yep.
organs. The brain needs as much, blood to flow into it as much as needed. So,
Mm-hmm.
to get yourself doing some exercise, you're taking care of your heart, you're taking care of your brain. We talk about sleep. We talked about that. Sleep
Yep.
is very essential. And, talking of time to lead, this is one of the ways that you need to lead yourself right. I hear a lot in a lot of leadership trainings and stuff how, leaders even, like look at political leaders, look at even medical professionals, especially like surgeons, that it can be called for emergencies at any time. Look at our frontliners, the firefighters, all those people that have to be at alert all the time. We all have to be intentional. And another thing now, let me even move away from there. We have
Mm.
this our phones. We have our
Oh
phones.
my goodness. We haven't even touched that yet, right? That
We have our
has an
phones.
unbelievable effect. So talk about that, please.
Yeah, we have our phones keeping us up all the time, because there's a lot of information that we all we are trying to get in, and so many things to entertain ourselves, to relax, to do all sort of things. We need to make sure that we're intentional about our sleep. So for me, if you take your diet, you stay active, you are sleeping right, then for mental health, it is important to stay connected with
Mm.
people.
Mm.
Isolation is not good.
No.
Staying connected with people does not also mean that, if you see yourself wanting to stay connected, like you're feeling like maybe you're not valued, or you're trying to force yourself on people, or you have to go out of your way to be recognized, or you have to do stuff like that. That is not healthy.
Mm.
But look around you, who are the people that support you. Start with your family. Your family is enough.
Mm.
Your parents, your siblings, your children. That's enough. Pick up the phone, call them, laugh. Like you told me, you went through that, the challenge.
Yes.
Your mom would laugh,
Sure.
you know, check on them. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't, because not everybody is blessed with siblings, and some people, maybe their parents, volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and volunteer in a community or somewhere that you feel like you belong, like your
Absolutely.
that's
Yes.
that's very important for mental health. These are some of the things that you need to we need to do to make sure that we are taking care of our mental health and you're in a good place. Now, remember, mental health is about three things: the behavior, the feelings, and the thoughts. People may not know or see the thoughts. I mean, you are the only one that knows your thoughts and the way that you're feeling. If you are feeling uncomfortable with yourself, you are not liking yourself, you're having low self-esteem, you feel sad, you feel unhappy, you're feeling worthless, you're feeling overwhelmed, you might be behaving in a way that you're compensating for it or trying to make everything look good, but you know what the truth is. If and your heart is heavy, your mind is not settled, things are not going right. And
Mm-hmm.
if your mind is settled, you feel fulfilled, you think you're making progress, and it is also making things go right. So that is the point where I say, since you know how you're feeling, if it's right, then look at the things you're doing that is making it right. Do you have people that support you? Do you have cheerleaders? Do you have things going well for you? Do you have a spouse that makes sure that you're eating right? Do you have somebody you have a neighbor that calls you to go for a walk every time? Does your workplace have a good mental health policies, and it's just kind of making everything fall into place? All those things, and don't take them for granted.
Mm.
And it also has to do with your thoughts. There are some people that, even though we find ourselves in a good place right now, looking back, we went through a lot. Maybe you saw your parents in a place that was not good. Some people witnessed armed robbery. Some people, their parents were killed in their presence. Some people,
Mm.
there were things that happened in the past that even their colleagues, even their spouses do not have an idea of. There are women who were raped. There are people who went through a lot of things that is impacting or affecting them negatively right now. That thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been able to heal and you've overcome it, keep doing the things that helped you heal.
Mm.
If you are still hurting from all those things, if you still cry when your spouse is sleeping, you cry and sob, or you still leave the place, or there's some places you are even avoiding because of your past,
Mm-hmm.
pain, That
Mm-hmm.
is where you should know that it is not a good mental place for you.
Mm-hmm.
These are the times that you should reach out to somebody. These are times that you don't necessarily have to share this if you do not want to, but it's important for you to have an outlet for
Yeah.
this thing so that you can heal. And when
Yes.
you a place where you can share, then you use this experience to help other people. What you should not do is to continue being, covering things up and leaving it the way it is right there.
A-
And that's what
Absolutely.
people
Wow.
believe in it.
I know you're, if you are listening right now, I know you're getting so much incredible value, practical things that you can do right now from Dale right now. And I just am just so, I'm learning, I'm taking notes. I can't wait to listen to the playback because I know it's going to bless so many people all across the world. I applaud you for everything that you're doing. How do you balance family, what you're doing, the caring of people, and how important it is, how supportive has your spouse been for you so you can do what you do?
How supportive has my spouse been? See, all this thing that you're seeing came to light because I got a yes from him.
Mm,
I probably wouldn't be doing this interview today if I didn't get that initial yes and the
mm-hmm,
continuous support that I've
mm-hmm,
been getting from him.
mm-hmm.
And this is where like I'm almost getting emotional
That's
because
okay.
because there's really nothing you can do alone. And when I talk about mental health matters, I tell you it is not just for people out there, it has to do with your family, my children,
Mm,
every. So all those things you're saying is because first of all, he just said, you know what? He gave me the chance to be
mm,
myself.
mm.
And I must say that it is not the most convenient thing for us right now.
Makes sense.
It is not. But he thought, okay, if this is what you want to do, you know what I say about fulfillment in life,
Yes, yes.
doing something and you're just living through, and how you can be doing something and you're actually feel like you're doing what you're called to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the right things in place to support you, you cannot go nowhere.
Mm.
For
You're
me,
stuck. Yeah.
my spouse is a big part of this. He's a blessing.
Mm.
And I'm just only hoping, praying that he would look back and he will say, "Thank God, I, thank
Yes.
you made me proud, and thank God we went for this because it's really been impacting lives, changing families, helping parents with children with disabilities, people finally being able to talk,
Mm-hmm.
leaders are putting things in place for their co-workers, I mean for the employees, and all that is not just stopping in the workplace, is
Mm-hmm.
helping the family, helping the children.
Yes.
It's been really big. So my husband is a big, you might not see, the only thing he asks of me is i, I don't want
I don't want to be seen. Get the cameras off of me. Salute. I want to tell your husband, I salute you, sir. I salute you. That's awesome. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Last question for the series I started a couple months ago, right after COVID, was leading through a crisis. John did something about that. And when the leaders that you've been talking to as far as mental health, how important is it for them to be connected, especially during a crisis, to help with the mental illness, the mental health of their employees? How important, in other words, how important it is for them to be connected to them and caring enough as a leader for them to be able to put them in a position where they can help with their mental health.
Yeah, it is very, very important. And I want to go back to where we started from
Okay.
when you said how do what part of going to the community or doing
Yes.
help really got into it is the fact that if the right people do not understand something, they're not empowered to put things in place to help other people.
Got it.
And
So they
so
can't be confused. They just cannot be confused, period. They ain't doing nothing. Okay.
yeah, they,
Got it. Got it.
and they can be confused. They just need to understand the importance.
Understand. Okay.
Once you understand it, it becomes easy to put things in place.
Got
And
it.
it goes back to my mental health matters again. So the approach that I've been taking and which is the right one is that leaders need to understand these basic things about what mental health is all about. Because what I'm finding is people think in the workplace is about having EAP in place. You're having employee assistant program, and people can just go see a counselor, and people can just go see things. When leaders don't understand the importance of mental health in the workplace, then they are losing a lot.
Mm.
I don't care how much they're making now, they are losing
Mm.
if they don't understand it. So
Yeah.
it comes from, and remember, leaders are human beings first.
Mm-hmm.
And leaders also have a brain that needs to be taken care of. And leaders, are making decisions. They are doing even more than what every other person is doing. So it now starts with leaders themselves knowing how important brain health is and how important their brain health is. How even in times of crisis, they need to take a break. Even in times of crisis, their family needs them. Even in times of crisis, they need to understand that things are not necessarily the same and put things in place. But mental health, putting mental health things in place for their employees should not just be another thing on the list of what leaders will do.
Mm.
It
Good.
should be that thing that leaders should do because they know the value
Mm-hmm.
of mental health to
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and they know the values and the return that comes to them when when their employees are in a good place.
Good.
So
Good.
it is very important. And what I found out is that a lot of them, during my sessions with them, they're like, oh my goodness, I never thought of that. And then, there's a part where we get to, and they realize that work is just one of those other things. It's not even the fundamental part
Right. Right. Right.
is not.
Mm.
Because if anything happens, it's nobody's thinking of work first.
No.
Nobody's
That's the last thing on your mind, right?
it is. It is. So I've heard a lot of leaders go like, "Oh my goodness, that is I never thought of that. Oh, maybe that's what's happening with my wife. Oh, I see this." And now they're like, and then I always emphasize yours first. You need to go and use. I have a tool. There's this tool that I give them. They have to really work on it. It's a PRP model. Pause,
Mm-hmm.
rewind, play. The
Mm.
pause part, it brings them to work on their brain and, work on themselves. Like, how am I doing? What's going on? Things like the rewind part is going back. What are the things that could be impacting or influencing this or doing that? Because you're a leader does not mean that if something is going on with your child at home, you just separate that from work. That is still you. You put all the things in place and we go to the play part. The play part is where they take action. The play part is when they've been able to put everything in place, we're able to play and now move forward to progress. When they
Mm.
get coming up with things and idea and talking to employees just become easy, and they are vulnerable and they are talking to, with what is going on. A lot of them are now they now were like, you know what, I've actually been doing this and never took care of it. When we're doing this for the team, I would actually talk about it. So when people see their leaders really talking about stress, opening up about things happening to them, they feel heard, they feel understood, they feel more committed, and
Mm.
then they together now come with what works for their organization.
Right.
That is
Right.
is different. Their stress level is different. What they're exposed to is different. So they would now drive it in a way that brings everybody in, and together we become a happy family.
Absolutely, man. This is great. Oh man, I can talk to you all day. At least you know what, one thing about us that's going to be similar, that I can talk and so you can talk. And this is good because it's just so valuable, because we've covered so much. But I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to read it again. This is Fred Fitzgiles, and my mental health matters.
Yeah. That's it. You see how easy it becomes when you understand it. You
That's
see,
right.
I mean, there's no shame. There's no shame to it. There's nothing to it. You say it proudly. Everybody in my family now, everybody in my family, my sisters-in-law, everyone, when something's like, oh, no, my mental health matters. They just go.
That's good. That's good. So last question. If you have someone who still is thinking about the stigma of, mental health, maybe struggling with something, and they may not have someone to call right away, or someone that they trust to call right away, what are some other ways, what kind of advice would you give to them that they can probably at least take a first step towards dealing with the struggle that they have and getting past the fact of being embarrassed about it?
We're all coming from different places. And like you said, whether we like it or not, mental health stigma is real. And it's everywhere. If there's anybody going through something right now, I have like a clarity call session that I have with people.
Great, that's great.
Yeah, I have this. It's confidential, private. There's the first 60 minutes, and then the follow-up 30 minutes where we talk about things. And what this does, and what I found with the clients that I've worked with, is that they find a safe space talking to me. See how we're talking.
Yes.
And when we're talking, different things come up. Different things come up, and we're able to get to the point of, okay, this is it. Because sometimes it's not even what we're thinking. There's something we've covered up. We get to the part, and then you now think of, hey, you have health here. You have been under the shadow here. But by the time we get to the end of even the first one, you see them already wanting to take that next step. So the next step for them might be, I need to actually start a therapy session. The next step for them might be, I need to go and let my doctor know that I stopped taking my medication a long time ago, and I will start. The next step for them might be, I need to go pay my parents a visit. The next step for them might be whatever it is they want to do, and they're able to move forward. And what I've found is that, you see, just the way we're able to empower each other, you and I now.
Yes.
Say, I'm saying my mental health matters again.
Yes.
Usually by the time we get finish to the clarity call, that shame is no longer there.
Good stuff. That's really good.
It's no longer there, because they're able to take ownership of them doing what they want for themselves. And one of the things that I put into place, and that I will share with our audience today, is that during the session, we're able to move from a place of where we are, and we're seeing the future of you using your story to help thousands of people.
Got it.
When you're already thinking that what's going on with me, coming out of it, even if it's not helping thousands of people, this is going to help the generations coming after me. And we won't just die. So we're already seeing a bright future.
Absolutely.
That.
Even with that.
Have you heard cancer survivors sharing their stories? No, seriously. Do you know how much it impacts people? Do you see?
Man, it does. It does. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's the same. So we are already seeing that bright future. We are already seeing we're already seeing all those things. So with stigma, anybody that is going through it, you might want to contact me, and let's work on that clarity session. if you think that, hey, your accent is too thick and I don't think I can hear what you're saying, that's fine. You might want to contact me, and then I can refer you, to
Yes,
somebody that will be culturally appropriate for you, because the
absolutely.
here is for you to be able to live the best life that you can.
Absolutely. And Dale, how can I get a hold of you and give you your contact information if you could?
Yes. So my phone number is 832-285-7810. Email, which I'll give you all this, right? And my email is Dayo Speaks, DAYOSPEAKMH. That is Dayo Speaks Mental Health at,
Nice.
at gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay, great. And I'm going to update the show notes on the page for you guys to be able to get that information as well. You better click on the links as well. And I'm just so excited. Oluwadayo, Adeyemo. Is that right? I got that right? I got it right. She just says, call me Dale. Dio. Is that Dio or Dale?
Dio.
Dio, absolutely. Dio, I appreciate you. This has been one of the most incredible interviews I have done in a very long while. Psychiatric mental health nurse, practitioner, and advocate, mental health, stress management, and also productivity expert, helping you to understand, attain, and maintain optimal wellness for top productivity. And say it after me. Everybody listening and watching and hearing, I want you to say, my mental health matters.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Will you come back if I invite you again, please?
Anytime, Fred.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to send you out the link to this page and also the file so you can be able to use that for your marketing. And I just say, I want to bless you with that because you just blessed us and everybody's been listening. This is the It's Time to Lead podcast. We're great leaders like that. Dio, I got it right. Where great leaders like Dio come together to grow and get better and to grow that part of our brain that is our brain, because our brain is a muscle and needs to be taken care of. It's like any other part of your body. So while you're working out, go work out. But don't forget to go read a book, go work out, go run, and go feed that brain the right stuff. Put the cheesesteaks down and the pizzas and all that kind of stuff, because your brain is an organ like anything else. And if you understand that the seriousness of whatever you're going through, okay, contact Dio, and she will definitely be able to talk to you. That's just like you heard her from her today, how we had a conversation. Imagine taking a deeper dive on your life, taking advantage. Taking a deeper dive on your life, and also being able to talk about you and let her listen to you and your story so you can get that point of happiness, wholeness, and understanding that your mental health does matter. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you, Dio. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Did you have fun?
I had fun.
All right, hold on a sec.
I had fun.